Enterprise Excel or process data moves through the governed NeuroGov Plus plugin, where permitted fields are validated and mapped. The processed data then enters Brain NeuroGov Plus for intelligence and governance, and the resulting governed management intelligence is presented through the Brain NeuroGov Plus cockpit. This visual represents the intended governed integration path. The current testing build demonstrates normalized JSON loading rather than native Excel reading. Material Category Purchase Analysis, 14 categories are represented. Highest current categories by purchase value: alloys, Indian rupee 483,210, steel, Indian rupee 482,148, composite materials, Indian rupee 472,590. Use this view with supplier, payment, and risk analysis before a management decision. One governed connection. Brain NeuroGov Plus will be connected to Invoice Intelligence as the governed enterprise intelligence layer. The invoice grid remains the evidence and management interface, while Brain NeuroGov Plus will receive validated invoice data through the approved data/plugin path for governed analysis. 2. Intelligence processing. After validation and schema mapping, Brain NeuroGov Plus will use deterministic intelligence to support KPI generation, payment exposure analysis, supplier and material concentration, anomaly identification and management recommendations. Optional permitted AI models or agents can operate through the governed architecture without redesigning the common Brain NeuroGov Plus cockpit. 3. Management decision. The Brain NeuroGov Plus cockpit will present the connected intelligence through the invoice grid, dashboards, graphs, text analysis, evidence and recommendations. The current testing build demonstrates the normalized JSON path. The Brain NeuroGov Plus connection described here is the intended governed integration for the next implementation stage. Material Category Purchase Analysis, 14 categories are represented. Highest current categories by purchase value: alloys, Indian rupee 483,210, steel, Indian rupee 482,148, composite materials, Indian rupee 472,590. Use this view with supplier, payment, and risk analysis before a management decision. Payment analysis: paid value is Indian rupee 1208,320 and pending value is Indian rupee 3009,413. Pending exposure represents 71.4% of total invoice value. Management advice: review due dates, approvals, and cash flow commitments before new procurement. Payment movement: 15 dated payment points are shown. The line chart separates paid and pending invoice values by date. Management advice: inspect dates with high pending exposure and connect the finding to payment terms and supplier commitments. Financial ratio analysis: paid ratio is 28.6%, pending exposure ratio is 71.4%, payment coverage ratio is 0.40x, and paid invoice ratio is 33.3%. These are deterministic management indicators from the current offline data set. not statutory financial ratios. Ratio analysis. The bar chart compares current paid ratio, 28.6%, pending exposure ratio, 71.4%, and paid invoice ratio, 33.3%. Payment coverage is 0.40x. Management advice: use these indicators for testing and management review, they are not statutory financial ratios. Ratio movement. The line chart shows cumulative paid and pending ratios across 15 dated records. Management advice: watch whether pending exposure is increasing over time and validate all movements against source invoices and payment records. Overall organization health is 62/100. Watch. Cash flow health is 29% based on pending exposure of 71.4%, spend concentration health is 100% based on top supplier share of 11.5%, exception health is 47% based on 4 rule-based exception, S. Budget health is 100% using the current editable budget of Indian rupee 4500,000. This is a deterministic management testing indicator, not a statutory corporate health rating. Brain NeuroGov Plus Raw Material Purchase Intelligence Cockpit. This management cockpit provides invoice intelligence, raw material analysis, supplier analytics, payment analysis, financial ratios, organization health, WIP testing graphs, and executive purchase metrics for the synthetic invoice test data sets. Offline data analysis. This graph uses the currently loaded dataset of 15 invoices with total value Indian rupee 4217,733. Management advice: interpret this graph together with supplier rating, payment exposure, anomalies, and budget position. Document any material finding in the evidence register. Offline data analysis. 15 invoices are represented in this bar graph. Total purchase value is Indian rupee 4217,733. Management advice: use this graph with supplier, payment, and risk analysis before making a procurement decision. Build rightward arrow, test rightward arrow, inspect rightward arrow, identify issue rightward arrow, improve rightward arrow, retest rightward arrow, evidence rightward arrow, repeat. This loop engineering cycle is the operating discipline for continuous NeuroGov Plus improvement. Build rightward arrow, test rightward arrow, inspect rightward arrow, identify issue rightward arrow, improve rightward arrow, retest rightward arrow, evidence rightward arrow, repeat. This loop engineering cycle is the operating discipline for continuous NeuroGov Plus improvement. Budget is user-controlled. Current testing budget is Indian rupee 4500,000. Actual spend is Indian rupee 4217,733, resulting in within budget with a variance of Indian rupee 282,267, 6.3%. Management can change the budget and recalculate at any time. Offline AI agent executive management analysis. review total exposure, supplier concentration, pending payments, and the highest value invoice. Governance, this is an offline governed analysis based on the current uploaded evidence. Human management remains the decision authority, no cloud LLM is required. Offline AI agent supplier intelligence, review global alloy materials at Indian rupee 483,210 and compare against supplier ratings and diversification requirements. Governance, this is an offline governed analysis based on the current uploaded evidence. Human management remains the decision authority, no cloud LLM is required. Offline AI agent graph/online analysis, interpret the live bar, line, and radar charts against the current uploaded JSON and document material findings. Governance, this is an offline governed analysis based on the current uploaded evidence. Human management remains the decision authority, no cloud LLM is required. Role of Analyzer. Analyzer 1.0 provides the analytical intelligence layer for Brain NeuroGov+. It examines enterprise data, identifies patterns, relationships, trends, and exceptions, and converts processed data into structured analytical findings that support management intelligence and decision-making. Role of Cognitive Cube. The Cognitive Cube provides the cognitive intelligence layer by bringing together AI cognitive data, enterprise knowledge and memory, and multidimensional analytical processing. It connects context, evidence, and analytical findings so enterprise situations can be interpreted from multiple dimensions before management conclusions are formed. Role of Policy Engine. The Policy Engine provides the governance and policy control layer. It applies defined enterprise rules, permissions, controls, and governance conditions to intelligence processing and decisions, helping ensure that recommendations and actions remain aligned with approved policies, responsible AI requirements and enterprise governance. Online analysis, 15 suppliers are represented. Global Alloy Materials has the highest purchase exposure at Indian rupee 483,210. Management advice, review supplier concentration and supplier rating before increasing commitments. Online analysis, 15 invoices are plotted in date order. The first to last invoice value change is Indian rupee 355,770, increase. Management advice, inspect high value movements and confirm procurement drivers. Online analysis, 14 material categories are represented. Alloys has the highest purchase value at Indian rupee 483,210. Management advice, review category concentration, pricing and procurement requirements before increasing commitments. Online analysis, 15 dated purchase/inward flow points are shown. Total represented flow is Indian rupee 4217,733. Management advice, use this as a testing proxy until the governed stock ledger is connected through the NeuroGov Plus plugin. Online analysis, 0 material categories contain parsable quantity values in the current invoice descriptions. Management advice, treat these quantities as testing proxies, not confirmed on-hand stock, until live inventory data is supplied. Online analysis, categories are classified A, B and C by descending purchase value concentration for testing. Management advice, prioritize A-class categories for tighter stock, procurement, and working capital controls, validate the classification against the future stock ledger. WIP analysis, pending invoice value is grouped by material category as a testing proxy for work in progress exposure. Current proxy WIP value is Indian rupee 3009,413. Management advice, Replace this proxy with a governed production/WIP ledger when the NeuroGov Plus plugin is connected. Online analysis. The radar compares purchase value, pending exposure, paid value, and normalized supplier/category dimensions. Management advice. Use the profile to identify concentration, cash flow and operating balance issues, confirm all material findings against source invoices. Excel source data rightward arrow NeuroGov Plus data plugin rightward arrow validation and schema mapping rightward arrow Brain NeuroGov Plus intelligence layer rightward arrow Brain NeuroGov Plus enterprise management cockpit. Dr. Pradeep K. Suri is the inventor and architect of Brain NeuroGov Plus, Advanced AI Enterprise, and the founder and architect of the NeuroGov Plus research program. His work focuses on governance-first enterprise AI integrating brain, domains, NGPTS, NeuroGate, enterprise knowledge and memory, cognitive intelligence, 63 specialized AI engines, deterministic intelligence, responsible AI and management decision intelligence. Brain NeuroGov Plus is designed as a model-independent enterprise intelligence architecture, allowing permitted LLM